On today's episode, we discuss the updates with the NBA playoffs, the teams that we're most and least surprised about, one of the biggest milestone moments that could or could not happen for the Toronto Raptors, brand new Joker trailer, which looks dope. We also discuss gaming consoles and how fucking tired we are of PS5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We also discuss how stupid Kodak Black and all these young promising rappers are with all of their hijinks, getting arrested, guns, drug trafficking, etc., etc. Peep the episode.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. 2 G's in a pod.
Alrighty then.
You and that fake accent. I am George, and he is...
George.
Or is it Judge?
Judge.
Or is it Judge?
Judge and Judge.
George the chicken.
No, that pronunciation Judge is a shout out to the homie Ben in grade 11 chemistry class. The whole class knows what I'm talking about.
So there's an actual story.
So this,
Man,
yes,
this
this
guy
is a
George
story.
has too many stories.
Hey, Judge.
We should just do the story podcast at this point. Like, not 2 G's in the pod.
Oh,
just,
don't, man. Honestly, I got enough old man stories for you. Don't worry.
Yeah, like 15 will definitely go down in history. Yo.
What up?
You know what my favorite number is?
What is
My
it?
lucky number.
Favorite number or a lucky number? Does anything happen to you that's lucky that is correlated to this number?
Well, something happened to this number, and it's 31.
You're a loser, man.
Actually, you know what? It's 3 and 1, and then it's 31. It is the absolute curse of the Warriors, 31, man. That's
the best meme that I've seen in many months was the other day when Tiger Woods, he came back to win the Masters. By the way, I got to give a shout out
After 31 voicemails?
to the big T Woods. No,
31 voice messages to the host?
no, the homie Steph Curry posted saying this is the greatest sports comeback in history, and then exactly 2 days later, the actual greatest comeback, come from behind win in NBA playoffs history happened against the Warriors.
So basically, the guy cursed himself.
Definitely.
He jinxed himself.
Definitely.
Steph Curry with the shot boy. You shot yourself out of that game. You let a freaking weasel like Patrick Beverly and then the fake Somali Lou Williams beat y'all asses while they were down by 30 freaking 1 points. Yo, Captain Phillips really came through to the rescue, man.
The captain came up here, bro.
By the way, Lou Williams,
Like
six
Lou
man.
Will.
Again.
He's always 6 man.
Is it him or is it Jamal Crawford this year?
Yo, bro, I have a question for you.
I can't really do that. I'm sorry, Jamal Crawford, but yo, Lou Will literally is the only guy who comes off the bench and averages 20, and he's Somalian, and he freaking came back from a 31-point deficit. I'm telling you, 31 is my new favorite number.
George, I have a question for you, and this was brought up to Lou Williams by a reporter. He was asked if he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and he said yes. What do you think of that?
Because he got hosed. Because of him being honest with his hose. He had one on his left and one on the right. He literally took a picture with his 2 girlfriends. How much more Hall of Fame can you get than that?
Honestly, there was a point that he brought up where there's many worse players than him that are already in the Hall. So I kind of have to agree with him. I don't think he's like a Hall of Fame player, but he deserves to be in the NBA Hall of Fame because they put anyone in there.
What if there was a 6-man like Hall of Fame category or something? He just passed Del Curry, by the way, in all points. He passed Steph Curry's dad in points among all bench players. I don't see why not. I really don't see why not.
Well, honestly, that's legit, man.
That
is legit.
You know, it sucks that it's coming from me, the all-time greatest Laker fan ever, that I'm kind of low-key
terrible loss for them.
I'm low-key rooting for the ops in LA, which are the Clippers. I'm purple and gold all the way, and I'm out here rooting for the Crips and the Bloods, man.
Exactly, man. The blue, white, and red.
Like, I'm only doing this because I'm tired of seeing the same team for the last 4 years, being where they're at. And yeah, they sadly lost a pretty big player on their team, Mr. DMC. You think that's gonna make a really big impact? Because I mean, he did kind of play pretty good since he came back in January.
I actually like the Warriors without him because I find that they have to go away from their dominant style of going fast up and down the court, passing around here, there, cuts, back screens, all that good stuff. I find with Demarcus, they have to kind of change that philosophy, and they turn into a different team entirely when he's on the court. So I don't think it's that big of a loss. I think it's more a loss in terms of their depth because they are not a deep team this year. And if they lose, it's because they did not do a good job of arming that bench. They lost really important guys like David West, Maurice Spates, like just a whole bunch of dudes over the last 2 or 3 years. And even Sean Livingston, he's thinking about retiring after this year. Andre Iguodala is getting old. So, and
Finals MVP.
So if you take all that into account, plus if they lose KD, they are gonna have a lot of work to do this offseason, man.
Yo, we live in a world where Andre Iguodala got more Finals MVP than Steph Curry, man. Steph Curry should be Steph Kirsty. Because that guy right now, I feel... By the way...
In that Finals, by the way, just as kind of like a hit home point, that the MVP of that Finals was LeBron James. That guy was playing like an absolute madman.
Despite them losing?
Doesn't matter. He was the MVP. He was the reason that they were in that
quiz
game.
For you. Who was the last player to win Finals MVP and didn't win the Finals?
Ooh, I want to say...
It's not even a pop quiz because I don't even know the answer.
Oh, word?
I don't. I just thought I'd test your knowledge.
Oh, man.
You're the sports geek over here.
Oh, man. Honestly, that's a good question, man. Oh, man, not again. Man, that's a really good... Man, that's an excellent question, George. Finally, George asked a good question on this pod.
Finally, George gives me a compliment.
Honestly, bro, I'm stumped. And even though on this podcast, we don't do any fact checking, I'm going to fact check this right now.
Okay, while you fact check it, as we speak and as George looks up this fact over here, the Warriors against the Clippers tonight, Game 3. And this game might be the determining factor for the outcome of this entire series. If the Warriors somehow manage to lose tonight, do you think the Clippers will win the title? Or will the Clippers win the series altogether? I think that 31-point blowout was the beginning of their demise. That right there was the beginning of the end of the Warriors' empire.
No, I think...
saying.
I think the Warriors will be out next series because...
And you know they're going to face the Rockets if Rockets win.
Because the Houston Rockets lost the last game of the year. They dropped down to fourths. So that means that they're actually going to meet the Warriors in the semifinals, which essentially means there is going to be either OKC, Portland, and or the two other teams who are going to be in the Western Finals, which is crazy. By the way, fact check update.
Yeah, let's pause the Portland talk. Tell me
Jerry West.
So it was the dude from back in the days.
Jerry West is the first and only player ever to win Finals MVP and lose.
See, I didn't know that. Actually, I've seen that answer before. I just didn't remember. I just remember it being a player from way back, like way.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. My answer, if I didn't know it, I would have probably picked one of the Jazz players in the NBA Finals where like MJ won because I know John Stockton and Karl Malone had a great series.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, if you would have just gotten MJ out of that equation, most definitely the Jazz would have won. But I mean, when you look at the Bulls in those that second three-peat, were they really like destroying opponents? Because they had some really tough competition in like the Reggie Miller, the Pacers, like the Knicks. Like there's so many players.
Man, there was a lot of good.
The
teams
Hawks
for sure.
too, bro. Like these guys were like low-key struggling in like the first round when they were getting their three-peat back then. During the three-peat, they were struggling. And here's another interesting fact that you probably don't even know. Remember that 1986 season when MJ got injured, but he came back at the end? He missed like the entire season, but he came back and he dropped 63 on the Celtics.
Yes.
On Larry Legend. You know what the Bulls record was that year? 30-52.
Damn.
And they made the freaking playoffs that year. Damn. Like how bad was the NBA in 1986?
It was terrible.
For you to make the playoffs. Jesus. That just shows you like kind of a flashback back then of what it looks like today, where the East is so weak compared to the West. I don't know what the West looked like back then. I just know that the Chicago Bulls that had a very young, hairful MJ who was rocking the gold chain in a dunk contest,
Yes,
went 30-52 and still made the playoffs. And of course, they got their ass handed to them, despite Jordan having scoring the highest amount of points in NBA playoff history with 63 on Larry Legend Bird.
Crazy, man. So, George, I just want to switch it up a little bit here. What story? And I know this is like fast forwarding a lot, but tell me the most anticipated NBA off-season story that you are most excited about.
Despite me not liking snakes, I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant's
Really?
situation, and of course Kyrie. I think he's gonna leave because Kyrie, he may seem like that humble guy on camera, when he does scrums and they ask him mad questions and media's talking to him, but I'm pretty sure behind the scenes he's like, man, fuck all of y'all. I don't want to be here. Yes, I'm playing great right now. He dropped 37 and beat the Pacers in game 2, but I don't think the Celtics are gonna surpass the Bucks right now if those two end up meeting later on in the playoffs. And because of that, he's like, yo, this isn't good enough. I needed to make it either all the way or I go home and I leave. I pack my bags and I leave. So I think he's definitely gonna go. And I don't know about the Knicks, but I know he's gonna go somewhere else.
Man, I'm telling you right now, those Boston Celtics, Danny Ainge better be hoping, wishing, and praying that Kyrie stays. Because if he stays, then they have a chance of landing AD. If he leaves, there's no AD and there's no other option. Because if you lose Kyrie and you don't replace him with anything, that means that potentially your best player on your team is Al Horford, and even Al actually has a player opt out this offseason as well.
Tatum is their better.
I don't think so,
number
man.
2.
He's had kind of an off year this year, but
You know why he's had an off year? Because he's also tangled up with the hoes. The baby mama, the ex-girlfriend. I'm telling you, these light-skinned players, man, they're always up to no good, man. Y'all light-skinned dudes need to keep your dick in your pants, man. Stop playing with these white girls, man. Come on. Just saying. But aside from that, I put him as like the second best. He's the guy that I see a lot of potential in, and he could potentially be a top 5, top 10 player in the league in the next couple years, especially when LeBron leaves. Oh, most definitely.
honestly, man, I tell you one thing right now. All that off-season training he did with Kobe. Honestly, man, that man's Kobe. He poisoned.
What if he taught him like
He
what to do?
he poisoned Jason Tatum because he plays for Boston, bro, the rival of the LA Lakers.
I mean, yeah, maybe
Trust
he
me,
did
that is a Kobe Bryant thing to do, man.
He also, don't forget, Kobe also tried out for the Celtics when he joined. Like that year.
I
before
saw the infamous.
Kobe in the Celtic tee.
I saw that T video, man.
17-year-old Kobe.
I saw that.
Go back to the current times in the playoffs right now with everything that's going on. We're at least 2 games in for every series. Let's focus on our Canadian pride team, the Toronto Raptors. First things first. Let's talk about game 1 real quick. Like, what was your input on that? Like, what was your thoughts and opinions on how that came out, and on Kyle Lowry's piss poor freaking performance and how he redeemed himself in game 2? Tell me how you feel about that. We haven't even had this talk yet.
Man, above all else, this is the most important time in the franchise history of the Toronto Raptors. Charles Barkley, that's what he even said last night, and he's dead on. His point was the Toronto Raptors have to make it to the Eastern Finals, or even better, the NBA Finals,
to keep Kawhi at
or
least.
else they're gonna lose Kawhi and they'll lose everything.
Most def.
And that city is gonna be set back another 5 years. With
Yeah,
that.
and then he's never gonna go visit his favorite city again.
That was a great video, man. But it is the truth. Those guys need to do whatever they can to keep Kawhi. Even offer him like 5% ownership of the team or some shit at the end of the contract. I don't know. But keep that man, or else you got nothing, man. Absolutely nothing. But they are, and as I have spoken about in past podcasts, they're set up very well for a quick reboot. But it's going to really take them back because they're showing a lot of promise. I know they had a bad game 1, but it's the Raptors. They always come out like that. I think they're still going to make it to the Eastern Finals. I'm sure of that. NBA Finals, I don't know anymore, but for sure, Eastern Finals, I think, and Kawhi Leonard's playing out of his mind, man. If you want to know what this Mandem's averages are, I'll tell you right now, man. He's averaging 31 points a game. He's shooting 63% from the field and 54% from three-point range, bro. Yo, this Mandem is going off, bro.
So now I understand the load management. That makes so much sense. Thank you, Raptors organization, front office, for making this guy sit on the side and get that load management shit going throughout the regular season, only for him to come back in top shape.
54% from three, bro. So just apply that math. For every 2 shots, he's averaging over like one of those 2 shots.
Yeah, over like 1.2, 1.5.
He's averaging more than 1 3 for every 2 he takes.
Now, mind you, we're only 2 games in, but that doesn't matter. It's freaking awesome
playoffs, bro.
This is the 2017 Kawhi that we're desperately waiting to see make his comeback prior to Zaza bitch ass Pachulia taking him out.
Dirty
you know
play,
what I mean?
man.
Super like Ric Flair dirty right there. That was terrible.
Woo!
But let's not even focus on the past. We're focusing right now. The Raptors lost game 1 by a devastating game winner from freaking dusty ass DJ Augustine. Who the hell is DJ Augustine? To be honest,
this guy is the definition of a journeyman point guard.
So that
he's played for every team, plus the ABA team, plus the WNBA team.
Junior varsity.
Yeah, he's played everywhere.
That was very heartbreaking. I was watching it live on the TV when that happened, and I was so sad. I'm like, man, despite despite Kyle having the worst performance, but at this point, are we even surprised to see him? Because to see Kyle Lowry play this bad on the court during the playoffs, it's been known. It's a known fact that he always chokes in the playoffs. Why is that even happening? Why do you get so nervous? Is it a nervous thing? Is it an anxiety thing? Like, what do you have, bro? Do you need us to talk to you a little bit? Like, do we need to sit down and do a therapy session with you, bro? Because you've been like this ever since the Raptors have been progressively better year in and year out. Around the time when like Rudy Gay came around, and then after he left, since like 2013-14, the Raptors have been playing so great regular season wise, but then when the time actually mattered the most, he was nowhere to be found. And this year in game 1, we saw the same thing. It's honestly it's like a broken record at this point. Like, I'm not even surprised. And thank the Lord that this man redeemed himself and dropped a nice little 22 with Kawhi going the fuck off too. And then not only did they win, but they destroyed it. They pounded the Disney Magic. Like, I was really happy to see that. And I honestly hope they almost won game 1. This could honestly be a 2-0 series.
Man,
right
it's going to be Raptors in 5. Don't worry about it.
So 4-1, just like the majority of fans are saying. Because not only are you saying that, I've had a good chunk of people telling me, yo, 4-1 Raptors. But that means they have to win 4 in a row. Because they already lost game 1.
They doing it, though, because there's no more load management for Kawhi.
You can't do load management in the springtime, bro. You can't do that right now. It's the worst time. So with that being said, man, from all the series that we're seeing right now, which ones are you not surprised to see the current situation, the teams that are currently up 2-0, like the Bucks right now? You're not surprised about that, right?
No. And honestly, another series that I'm not surprised about if this particular team wins is the Brooklyn Nets against the Philadelphia 76ers.
Despite it being a tie 1-1?
Because Joel Embiid is a shell of himself. He's not playing today's game. And even before the series, Coach Brett Brown said to the media in Philly that this Brooklyn team is a bad matchup for them. Very bad matchup.
I'm looking at the score right now.
Currently right now, man, during the live feed, we're looking at 85-71 for the Philadelphia.
Make that 86, and Tobias Harris is going off right now. 22. We're in the third quarter, and we have a 15-point lead for Philly. So, yo, no Joel, no problem, I guess, right?
But also, just to go from the other angle, the team that I'm actually shocked that they're playing that well are the Houston Rockets. I knew that they were gonna mop the floor with the Utah Jazz, but they're making it look super easy, man.
Specifically Harden
man, that boy, them Jimmy, man, that like Jimmy Harden, man. He's killing it, bro. He's
You
dope.
see that ugly ass shimmy that he did, but he missed that shot. And
I
they turned
don't
that into a
care,
meme?
man. It was great. That homie Ricky Rubio flew off the screen, man.
Ricky Rubio looking like Pablo Escobar Jr. and shit with that whole look. I feel like I've seen him in Narcos in one of them episodes. I think he was one of. I think he was like a new modern version of one of Pablo's.
He's
goons.
Pablo's homies, bro.
So that series is 2-0 for the Rockets. We're not really surprised about that. So we're expecting to see if all goes well, if all goes as expected. The Warriors and Rockets will most likely meet each other sooner rather than later, as opposed to last year where they met in the Western Finals. And George, are you gonna stick with your initial prediction of the Rockets taking the Warriors out if it comes down to that in round 2?
Definitely.
Definitely.
Man, I'm being cold-blooded with this shit right here, man. Man, I got cold blood in my veins, man, right here.
Yeah, you
I'm
felt
doing
that
it.
tonight at the hospital too, huh? Once they waxed that damn floor.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then that's a little bit of the basketball talk we have. I mean, we have a little bit more too. We got a few college players who finally declared the NBA draft. The Duke boys, the Duke Daredevils,
Zion
and the Canadian homie RJ Barrett. I didn't know that guy was Canadian until like a week ago. But he's also
about a
declared.
week ago.
So do you think it's gonna go like 1-2 with those guys, or we might have like a MMA Durant or whatever that kid is? Ja Durant.
Man, I don't even know, but I'm telling you right now, if the Cleveland Cavaliers get the number 1 pick again, I'm losing it, man. I'm quitting the NBA. I'm quitting basketball.
You know what? You know how we can curse them to not get it is by having Drake wear like a Cavs jersey. Yo,
Definitely.
so Drake right now is trending in the sports world because this guy, every time he wears a sports team's jersey, that team end up screwing the hell up. The Maple Leafs is the latest victim of it, and
Tampa Bay Lightning just got swept out of the playoffs in the NHL after having the most victories in the league and having tied for the most points in NHL history. They got swept.
Wait, so they were like 1 seed and they got swept in round 1?
Swept in round
by
1.
who?
After the homie Drizzy Drake, he had a Lightning Bolts jersey on. They got swept by the Columbus Blue Jackets.
So you mean to tell me Drake is the fakest fan of all time? He just wears whatever's hot is what he does?
I guess, man.
He even wore like rest in peace to, you know, that Canadian hockey team that died on that bus crash.
The Humboldt Broncos.
Yeah, he even wore their jerseys. Like, bro, do you even know a single kid on that team? Do you know anybody? Do you even know any athlete personally? This guy literally wore a freaking Irish flag on his back, and then McGregor ended up losing the fight. All I'm saying is I have my reasons to hate on Drake, and sports is another reason why. All right, he also cursed the Miami Heat. You know,
Definitely.
He cursed the Maple Leafs tonight. They're the latest victim. The guy was at the game. They end up losing. Actually, that wasn't tonight. I think that was last night. They lost to the Bruins. I'm not really focusing on hockey right now. It's all the people around me that talk hockey while I'm out here focusing on ball. Because why, George? Ball is
Love.
Thank you. That's going to be a wrap for Sports Talk today. So you have already exposed all of the consoles right here, right? At the crib, in the man cave.
Yes, sir.
So they've already announced the infamous PS5.
Mad specs on that, man. I just saw them today.
But here's the catch, though. We won't get it until next year, at least. We're not getting it this year.
I hope no one gets those shit. I hope no one gets those, man.
Why would Sony announce all the latest details and the information, news, the latest updates on PlayStation 5, saying that the PS4 is compatible, 4K definition, yet it's not going to be released in 2019? Why would you do that? Like, when did the PS4 come out? In 2012 or was it 2013?
It was around that time.
Yeah, like late 2012 or whatever. So
like, I know they give all their consoles like a shelf life of about 7 years, but man, I'm tired of consoles. No more consoles, bro. Keep the current consoles out. They're great consoles.
Improve the shit.
Have add-ons, have accessories, improve it a little bit, and keep on bringing out these amazing games, man. Come on, and man, enough consoles. And that PS5, man, at the starter price for one is $500 man.
So that's like 15,000 Canadian.
That's like $150,000 Canadian.
Oh shit, that's a mortgage.
Bro, it's a mortgage and a half on a condo.
For a PlayStation 5, yo, I haven't had a play. I'm still rocking a PS3 and I'm still playing Black Ops, FYI. Like, that's how much F's I give about these new gen consoles. Like, I don't care.
Honestly, I think the only cool thing about this PS5 is that it's backwards compatible, with all the old games.
I don't know about all the old games. I think they're only referring to the PS4 for now. They haven't announced anything about a 3 or 2 or a 1. If they could do a 1, 2, and a 3,
That would be dope.
whoo,
That would be dope.
I still won't buy it though.
No,
I'm gonna stick with my Trace, my PS Trace all day, every freaking day. So now we are getting a lot of movie trailers for upcoming movies that are like later this year. The one that I'm now anticipating after my super big time disappointment in Us, I'm looking forward to the Joker movie, bro. So the trailer came out for that, and have you watched it, George?
I have, sir. Honestly, I'm excited. Like, Joaquin Phoenix, great choice for Joker. They had a little bit of a teaser to a young Bruce Wayne in there where the Joker is like trying to make him smile. All in all, I'm excited. I'm not assessing this movie from the standpoint of a superhero movie. I'm not going to think about it as a DC Comics movie.
No way.
I'm not doing that. I'm just trying to look at it like it's a serious drama story. And that's my goal right there, right? And honestly, I'm glad it's a Martin Scorsese picture because I think he adds that right element of like a mafia gangster figure, So I'm very hyped for sure.
I also don't treat it as like a DC I know it's
way.
not Marvel. Like, I can't do that. Like, I'm thinking of it as a sequel to Dark Knight, even practically. Like, Dark Knight came out, by the way, that is easily in my top 5 all time. No doubt about it. I'm not even exaggerating because
A prequel, you mean like it's like a prequel to that.
whatever, man. I don't even know what a sequel, prequel, whatever. All I'm saying is when Dark Knight came out, I loved it to death. I watched it in the theater. I watched it at home. I watched it so many times. And you know what? I might even go watch it tonight. No, F that. Because I got to go watch the Warrior game and see the Somalians win tonight. I got to go home and watch the Pirates win. And I'm not talking Pittsburgh. So if you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, just off the trailer, how much you giving it?
An 8.5, I think.
That's it?
I think 8.5, man. 8.5 is big for that kind of movie.
I don't think I can ever compare anybody. I don't care how amazing. I can't say how amazing because maybe he might outperform Heath Ledger, but
No way.
no one can really outperform Heath Ledger. Like, rest in peace, Heath Ledger. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. I will never forget to ever mention rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle. For as long as I live, every episode on.
Man, I've been on a Nipsey binge, man.
Yeah?
I've been on a Nipsey binge.
Yeah?
Lately. Oh,
you
for
want to
sure.
make a trip to go to Slauson and go to his store real quick just to show some love, support and buy his product?
Man, I ain't never going to Slauson, bro.
Yeah,
You're
I
crazy.
know. We don't want to
You're
risk
crazy,
that.
Chris.
You're right. I know. I've also been advised by Cali people to not go there either. But if that's my song, yo, George definitely took my word and he's bumping the song that I told him that I was introduced to. They Roll. That song that we all thought was produced by Dr. Dre for like 5 years. Alright, take that out. George, you really out here bumping. Okay, I see you.
Man, I've been on like a Nipsey binge.
So, and I'm not calling you a bandwagoner, obviously.
No.
But it's just that you're not the only one, though. And there's some people who I'm kind of... See, now we're kind of like flipping from Joakim to Heath to Nipsey. All I wanted to say was, from here on out, every episode, I will not forget to hit him up with the R.I.P. Nipsey Hussle. Because
I'll tell you right
Nipsey
now,
Hussle, man, God rest your soul, bro.
God rest his soul. I'll tell you right now, man.
Much love.
I took him for granted in terms of his music when the guy was alive.
Oh, hell yeah, you did.
I bumped it from time to time, but I was definitely not like a huge Nipsey fan.
Yeah.
And man, I feel bad because I feel like only in death do a lot of people tend to appreciate people, and I'm very guilty of that myself. But yeah, man, no, I've just been on like a Nipsey binge, man, for sure.
George, give people their flowers while they can still smell them, okay? That's
Definitely.
what I want to tell you.
Definitely.
Because
and I know George jacked that line. Definitely, he jacked it from like a tweet or Twitter follower or IG or some shit like that.
I could easily tell you.
Because that's way too fucking elaborate for your ass, man. No.
One more time, George. Give
Back
people
off,
their
guys.
flowers while they can still smell
George is milking that stolen line. I'm gonna figure out who
you don't need
stole
to figure
from.
it out. I could lie to you and say I came up with it, but it's
But
not.
I ain't believing that.
So, George, you're so zoned out of music for the last like decade.
Definitely.
And that actually, let's go back to that actually. When I asked you a couple episodes ago, I said, yo, George, like when did you stop really checking for music in depth? Like, you started because you used to be so up to date on the latest releases.
I was
and
the
shit.
song dealer, bro.
Yeah,
I was that dealer.
You was peddling MP3s.
I was peddling the Napster files. I was peddling LimeWire, bro.
LimeWire, Kazaa. No, George.
Oh, what? Oh, man, I missed that shit.
Can we just get them back?
Get that, man.
No, but George, the thing is that Nipsey Hussle started to get his popularity rising after you stopped checking for music. So I kind of get it. I'll go ahead and let you slide with your, I never, I took him for granted musically. That's cool. That's cool.
I did.
It's because the dude really made all his best music after you stopped listening to music.
Definitely.
Once you stopped checking for all that shit because you were so stuck in the 90s, Nipsey Hussle was somewhere in Etria, like still visiting family and probably gangbanging.
Wait a second. What was that country you just said? What is it?
Eritrea.
There you go.
If you don't get that bullshit out of here, trying to make fun of me.
Etria, bro, you crazy.
Oh, my bad.
By the way, I gotta give a shout out to the Brooklyn Nets, Brooklyn finest. We run this bad boy behind it.
What if Diddy is at the game?
Yeah, I hope so. Look at that, 97-90. See, I'm telling you.
So
watch them Brooklyn Nets, boy. Watch them.
That's the latest ticker right there for y'all. End of the third quarter, the Nets. And by the way, it's a home game. Like, the crowd got their back. They have to have the back.
The problem with the Brooklyn fans, because it's such a new franchise, they are fair weather fans, and they're fans that are transplants.
What's a fair weather fan? Yo.
They've come from other places around the states, so they're not like Brooklyn.
What do you mean? They're literally they're right next to. They're in New Jersey, bro. New Jersey is right next door.
Man, the area of Brooklyn that the team is actually situated in is one of the richest, most upscale areas in all of New York.
So that's why there's a lot of people that go.
And that's why you see a lot of fans from like away teams popping up because they're from LA and they're from Miami, etc.
Yo, what's the latest on Kodak Black right now? I mean, I've been seeing this guy a lot in the news. He's been talking so much out of his ass, getting all the attention that he doesn't need in terms of kind of disrespecting the Nipsey household, the wife, Lauren London. Talking about, come see me. Like, bro, you're like, I don't know.
Mad props to Game, by the way. He put Kodak on blast, man. Did you hear his little snippet there?
Bro, I've seen everything, man. I've seen everything, but like, it's hard to avoid these because they're always in your face, right? Online. And why are we giving this guy attention? You got T.I. out here threatening him. You got Game threatening him. Like, leave the guy alone. And then the more we leave him alone, the more the less we're gonna see of him. Now the latest about this guy was that he was in jail. He had like a bunch of money flashing. He had guns and stuff. So I actually saw a little clip of him walking out of jail and he was flashing money. But what was his reason for going to jail in the first place?
He was arrested at the border for trying to smuggle guns into Canada. Kodak Black arrested at the Canadian border crossing with guns and drugs. Woo! This guy's dumb.
Man, it's not just him.
This guy's on a fast track to jail, I tell you right now, man.
Bro, there's been a slew of rappers over the years that have been busted for the exact same reason. Guns, drugs. What possesses you to even do that? What possesses you to have these things in your possession? Like, why do you do that? Why do rappers look so fucking dumb? Why do you do that in public display? Why I want to sit down and have a conference call. Not even a conference call. I want to sit down in a round table, have a round table with every rapper that's ever been caught slipping with bullshit like that. Why do you do that to yourselves? If this is your way of gaining relevance and being relevant and getting some internet fame, you are a fucking idiot. You are pathetic. I don't care about all the praise that we give other rappers. There are rappers that we give praise today that have done some really dumb shit in the past. T.I., right? Do you remember when T.I. got caught slipping with all them guns?
All them guns? He had like an army case of guns, man.
Those were literally army, these were like...
Army assault rifles.
Yeah. What the fuck, T.I.? What the fuck, what's his face? Kodak Black. Something is going through this kid's head, man. We need... You know what? Instead of me doing what I just did for the last 30 seconds and shitting on these people, we got to help these guys, man. You see, it all comes down to mental health. I'm telling you, it all comes down to mental health. Something's going on in these guys' brains. They got a few screws loose, man. What do we do?
Man, honestly, this is crazy, okay?
How do we help these guys?
Check out the deets here.
I don't want deets. I want them to stop doing this bullshit.
Check this out. It says Kodak Black was reportedly driving Cadillac Escalade with a temporary California registration. Upon inspection, authorities found marijuana and an undeclared Glock 9mm pistol. Oh, One of Kodak Black's cohorts was reportedly driving a Porsche that also held a gun, 2 additional handguns, which were loaded, and a stash of marijuana in the trunk. Why, man? Why you have to do this stuff?
This whole concept of there's like that stereotype of like all rappers, they all smoke weed. Man, I want to give all of the shout outs in the world to every rapper who does not consume anything, does not get intoxicated, does not get themselves involved with this fuckery, this bullshit, this really unnecessary act of coolness. This is not even cool. What makes you think it's cool to be, traveling around with guns and drugs? All you got to do, if you really want to smoke weed, man, just go to any local dealer or whatever and then go reach out to them. If you got your connects in every city you go to, just go to your connect. Why do you have to have it on you? Because you know what you're going to get yourself into. You're going to get busted. I know we already have a lot of crooked legal systems left and right all over the place, but this definitely warrants you to get locked up, to get booked. I don't care.
Man, tell me, in your right mind, why would you think you're gonna cross a border with guns on you, man? Why? And drugs? Why you think that?
Unless you're actually the police or like you're the authorities, you're just a fucking regular ass black man, and you know how the police feel about black men. It's sad to say, but you already know how they feel about you. Yo, they really do discriminate, man. It's segregation is crazy. The discrimination, the racial tensions are crazy right now. And you doing this is not going to help your case. It's just going to make the stereotype even worse. So for all the rappers out there, man, if ever one day in our lifetime, maybe even past our lifetime, this episode is posted somewhere in the archives on YouTube or whatever the next sensation is, and y'all listen to this shit, just take my word, man. Like, don't fucking do it. Like, I'm not a rapper. I'm not a gunslinger. I'm not a drug slinger. I'm none of that shit. But I do know what's right from wrong, and I know that I'm not dumb enough to be going out publicly, especially while traveling and crossing borders.
Why you have to put your future in jeopardy and jeopardize everything that you worked so hard for? It's pointless. It's stupid, man. And honestly, whatever happens, whether he's charged, he's found guilty, innocent, it's all things that he's brought upon himself, man. You don't need to do this stuff, man.
All these rappers need therapy. They really do. We need to help them all right now, because if we keep saying F them and this and that for all the ignorance and all the unnecessary shenanigans that they do on the internet for the attention, instead of keep doing that, because when they do that, they're just hyping up and they're priming up all the other rappers and other celebrities and fans. They enrage them even more. So if anything, they're getting a reaction out of you. Either we don't react to them, or they need to seek help, and we need to help them. That's all I gotta say. I don't want to.
Amen, brother.
I don't want like anything bad to happen, despite if I like their music or not, and that's that. So we're gonna put a wrap on this thing for tonight. By the way, we didn't even mention which episode we are, bro. We reached the 20s, man.
The 2 O's.
We are episode 20 of 2G's in the pod. I am George, and he is
Judge.
The greatest podcast in the world. Definitely the best podcast in Canada, no doubt about it.
Definitely.
We don't want Drake to rep us, because I don't want him to curse us and to get us off the podcast.
George, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to make sure we're nominated next year for that Faces magazine.
Yeah?
Like best podcast award shit.
Oh, I thought
sure.
you were about to say like we might be nominated and win a Juno award or something.
No,
shit.
Bro, you crazy.
Yeah.
Are you kidding, man? There's no way we can actually have a Juno, because your ass can't figure out the computer every time we sign up here, bro.
Juno?
You know what I'm talking about?
All right, everybody. Have a good night. And by the way, one last warning. Please be on the lookout for any potential extreme raining measures here in the city of Ottawa and Gatineau. They're announcing potential floods in the upcoming days. And by the way, enjoy the long weekend, brother.
Take care of yourself, brother. And to all those, have a happy Easter. Stay safe, stay dry, stay happy, and stay blessed. Peace.